So did you guys get like backstage passes to see Bette Midler in Las Vegas?
No, we did not. No, we didn't get any of those perks. We just took our scale and did the job and went home.
Have you been invited though to see her? Will you go see her perform?
I would see her perform anytime, but no, the invitation has not been forthcoming yet.
Now, what was it like the first day you got on set with Helen and she was, kooky director, kooky act, had to do both roles at the same time?
She found a way of establishing herself that was extremely quiet and consistent. It was a marvel to watch, because I've never directed, and I think all actors think about it, whether they seriously intend to do it or not. I think there's always this, I don't know, how would I handle a moment like this? Or how would I tell that actor they're overdoing? Or how, and would people listen to me? And would I be whispered about and mocked behind my back? And she obviated all of that kind of, it was, whatever she had to do in front of the camera, she would return to this quiet, thoughtful, confident default position. She's one of the things she has going for her, and this is just a personal natural skill, is clarity. Mm-hmm. She's very, very smart, but she doesn't get lost in contradictions. And if there are contradictions, she's able to clarify them, sort them out. We have this problem, but we can't do it because we have this problem. You're the director of photography, perhaps you can help me with that one. So she delegates, she asks questions, which never made her seem like she was out of her depth. And she never was. So I just remember thinking, if I direct a film, I'd like to be like that. I also thought I would not like to direct a film and also have to play scenes, because that just felt...
I'm wondering, how did she direct herself in the love scenes?
That's how you direct yourself in any scene. I'm going to try and dodge your question.
No, you cannot dodge the question.
Because they work. The question, actually, the answer applies to both. If you're doing an intimate scene where you're looking at each other face to face, she's got to work with herself and me, and the chemistry between us. And she somehow has to work with them as separate elements, because you do close up, wide shot, whatever. And you have to also have a sense of them working as a whole. But you've also got to deal with the fact that it's never that easy to judge yourself. And then having got through that, you have to know how to judge yourself as set against this other person. And, it can be a tricky thing for a guy to be directed by his sexual partner who's supposed to be making out on the sofa. Cut. Colin, come on, I think,
Were there many bloopers that we might see on the DVD?
I don't know. I was only a flying visit. I was there for 3 weeks, and they went on for at least that after I left. And I know the adventures went on. The only one I remember, I don't know if somebody would kill me for saying this, but I remember an incredibly quiet, intense moment, which I think was probably in some ways one of the emotional hearts of the film, is when she comes to sleep on the floor of the room when I'm with the children. It's very, very quiet. And we can't speak too loudly because of the children. We shouldn't really be there together anyway, the school teacher, for heaven's sake, and the dad. And there was a camera at floor level, because that's where we were. And somebody down there broke wind incredibly loudly at that moment. And I just remember this silence, this paralysis in the room. Well, Helen, who was in my arms, said, "Cut. What just happened?" And some very noble soul, I'd be unfair to say who it was, put his hand up. And so we had to go back again. Now, that's the sort of thing that could be in the bloopers, but it's also the kind of things that could be a cheat, because you can always add and subtract sounds like that, so goodness knows.
So it was not silent but deadly.
It was not silent, and indeed was deadly, yes.
I think we got to wrap on that note.
Okay.